thing, and I'll even remember to post it today. There we go. Okay, so we've talked about units and some of this kind of stuff. We're going to really talk about layers today. You've done some work with layers, and we're going to make some layers, and then we're going to use them. We're going to use them today. So there's a little bit on the playlist. Here's your resource files. And we're just going to get into doing those last two, plate 1 and plate 2. Those are the two that we're on. So let me jump over to my VMware, and I've kind of prepped it up a little bit. I've got the layer instruction pulled in, and I've got an image of what I'm supposed to draw pulled in, and I have kind of like a blank set of layers. So let me do this. I see that I need continuous and center 2. So if you remember, I type line type, and I need center 2. Oh, need to load. Center 2. Okay. Now I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these things. Even though I'm not going to do the magenta one, I'm not going to do some of it. I'm going to make all 5. And I drew this already. That's my border. And I'm going to, it's not on the border layer, but I did that on purpose so that it's already there. Okay, so remember that now I go to my layer properties, and I'm going to make some goofball ones again. Nobody would ever use this layering convention. It's just their cut. Okay, so here we go. And I've got, and they don't even have them capitalized. Outline. Green. That's green right there. Green. Continuous. Oh, I don't think I'm in millimeters. Let me come over here to my line weights and remember to get those set to inches. There we go. So now I can set that to 0.047. That is incredibly thick. Oh, and I did those all on the wrong one. Shame on me. This one's green. 0.047. I can change that one back. There we go. Green and 0.047. So now I want to do new layer, diamond, cyan. That's that bluish one. Continuous 0.002. Who thought this thing up? New one, title, magenta, continuous 0.014. This is actually just so you get some practice and kind of get the idea of what some of these look like. Center lines. Now yellow doesn't show up very well on a white background. Center 2. 0.014, and my last one is border. White, which is really black. Continuous. And 0.028. So now, this thing is on the wrong, that's my border. And it's on the wrong layer. It says right here it's on the 0 layer. And if I look at my properties, that was a right-click properties. It says it's on the 0 layer. So I can either change it up here by clicking on border, or I could have clicked on it over here. See, this one lets me see all those. So if something's on the wrong layer, you just click on it and you change its layer. Now I need to draw this thing. And the way I look at it, I've got a rectangle that's 7.5 by 4.5. And then I come down 1.25 and I cut an angle. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show you the mirror command. And so that's on the outline layer. So I come over here, click, and I say, this is what I want to draw with. Outline layer. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to make a box that's, I'm going to turn my dynamic back on, sorry. The box, and it's 7.5 wide, tab by 4.5 tall. And I think I want to move it a little bit just because I don't like where it is there. Now there's a very cool thing that says chamfer, which is cut an angle. So I'm going to do one of these using chamfer, and then I'm going to use a different command for the other one. Chamfer, and I'm going to go by an angle. So what's my first chamfer length? I'm going to come down 1.25. So I'll type 1.25, enter. And what's my angle from that first line? From that line, it's 60 degrees. I'm going to chamfer this. Oh, is that too cool? That is really awesome. Now, I'm going to show you another little trick. If I now, I could do that on every single one of these, by the way. I hit enter to repeat it. Enter. Oh, what happened there? Chamfer. Did I hit something? Angle. Oh, it needs to go this way. Aha. So now I've got the main part of that drawn. I'm going to show you another way now that you could do that. I'm going to just do it out here. And I don't care which way you do it. 7.5 by 4.5. Now I could draw down. Let me see if my angles are set for multiples of 30. So I could draw straight down 1.25 and then over this way till it hits. And then there's this very cool thing called mirror. So I could mirror this line across. Make sure my midpoints are set up. It's my midpoints. Isn't that cool? Oh, I hit escape. Let me do that again. I'm going to get my midpoint set up. So mirror my line, the midpoints, and enter. And then I could do both of those at once even. Mirror both of those. Now, which way was the right way? Whichever way you made it to get the shape right. Okay, but here I am over here. Now, over here, I see a rectangle that's 1.5 by 5, and then I trim away this area. Nope, it was by 1. And I can copy those into place. And then I got the good old trim command again. Oh, isn't that cool? Now I need to find this center point and draw these little centerline things. So let me try that. Yeah, this is really a fun one, isn't it? So now I'm going to go to my centerline command. And I'm actually going to draw the center lines just so that you can see a new thing. I'm going to draw a center line. And that doesn't look good, so I'm going to change, just so that I can see it for now, I'm going to change it to blue so that you can see what I do. Now, this doesn't say so, but center lines always stick past the object by 1/8 of an inch. So how am I going to make that longer by 1/8 of an inch? I'll lengthen it. Lengthen. Lengthen. By a given amount. That's delta. DE. DE. Delta 1/8. And then I can go click, click, click. Oh, is that too cool? Yeah, like that. Now my next one, I'm going to show you another way to do this one. I'm going to go offset. 1.5 inches, because I know that this goes up that way, that way, that way, and that way. And now I can draw corner to corner for my diamonds. And I spelled diamond wrong, sorry. And look, there's only a million ways to draw this, but this is one way to do it. I got my shape. There it is. And so then ideally, I would do something like this. Bring this down nearby. I can make it a little bit smaller, I think, so I don't have to see everything. So I'm just playing with controls. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So I can do my file save as. This one is plate 1, I think. Not bad, right? And oh, and here's my snip. we go. So we just go over these steps over and over and over again until you get good at it. So that one included the chamfer command, some offset commands, some O snaps, some trim. But I mostly used exactly the information that was given to me. That's how I tend to try to draw. Okay, it said it was down 1.25 at 60 degrees. So whether you use the chamfer command or the draw and trim and mirror won't really matter. This is a rectangle, 1.5 by 1. I tend to do that, although I could have just drawn over 1.5, up and over and trimmed out 2. Would work just as well. So it's kind of cool. These, I knew that these corners were 1.25 away, and I chose to do the O snap command. I could have also done a thing that's got a diameter of 3, and I could have made a polygon with 4 sides. Inscribed in the circle, right like that. I'll bet you that would have worked. Yep. Which one was right? Whichever one you chose. Wasn't that a cool way to do it when I just showed there? I just think that's awesome. I love playing with this stuff. Okay, so there's my save, and I'm ready for plate 2. Let's see. For plate 2, and just pull this whole thing in, I think. Oh, no. I need to, oh, I know where it is. There it is. Huh, I don't have my plate 2. Looks like I have to download it. Okay, plate 2, download. There it is. That was another cool trick. There. Continuous, continuous, dash. Okay, let's see if I can do that. Line type. See, we're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Continuous, continuous, and dash. There it is, dashed. Select it. Oh, I just wanted to load it. Now I'm going to have 3 layers on this one. Lines, which are yellow. And I'm going to use blue just because I think yellow is really hard to see. Well, I'll make them yellow. Continuous, 0.014. Text. Green. Continuous, 0.014. And border. Red. Ooh, red. And dashed. Okay. Now I want to make my border first, so I'll click on my border and I'll make my shape, which is a rectangle starting at 0, 0 and going to 10, 7.75. That again. I'm going to get it out of dynamic. Sorry, I just do so poorly in dynamic. There we go. And now I can move this over. Okay, so I got my border. If I turn my line weights on, they look pretty good. That's fine. So now I'm going to draw this thing. Oh, man. Well, I see again that I have a rectangle, and I'm just going to have to do it a little bit differently. So now I'm going to be on my yellow. I just don't think you're going to be able to see that. So I'm going to have to turn it to blue. .5 by 4.5. And now it's going to be from the midpoint at 30 degrees. Midpoint at 30 degrees. So let's see. I'm in my 30s. Mirror my object. Got the midpoint. Don't erase. Mirror. About the midpoint. Erase and now trim. There's my main outline. I have these little things to make. It looks like it's a block that's 1.25 by 0.5. And I'm going to place those somewhere. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bottom corner. See, I can use that tracking. And then it says to move it 2 inches. Move. Anywhere, go straight sideways 2. And now I've got more mirrors to do. Mirror my object about the center. Mirror my 2 objects the center. And I'm going to just double check to make sure that those are 1 apart. DIST. They're 1 apart. So my guess about mirroring was right. So that one was just a trick that, knowing that I always try to make boxes and place them. And I didn't need to do a mirror. I could have just moved it, copied it over 1, but I was pretty sure it was going to be a mirror. So now I can do the same thing with my other one. It's a box that's 2.125 wide by 1.5 tall. I got that from this and this. And it looks like the edge lines up. So I'm going to do that in 2 parts. I'm going to move that. So that it lines up right there. And then I'm just going to draw a little line just to use. And now I'm going to move it my midpoint is right on it. That's my just really okay. I just got to get it. There were tracking that I could have done, but that's how I did it there. And now I'm pretty sure it's going to be a mirror again from the midpoint down. There we go. And I'll bet you I have it. Looks pretty good. And I could do my distance command all over and my measure. I can measure angles, right? Stuff like that. Now to measure an angle, I need a line to measure against. If I were to measure that angle, 30 degrees. What do you know? I got it right. So I could do all these little measurements if I want. But first, I'm going to save it. Whenever I do something good, I save it. And I'll take my snip. There we go. Not bad, huh? So this week is not too horrendous. You guys have been working really hard, taking a little bit easy on you. I think that it's more so you'll get most of let's do this. That's how I should have done it. What my snip should have been. You'll get most of your credit if I see this and I see something drawn with the right shape. You've only been drawing a couple of weeks, so do the best you can. Watch the video, kind of figure it out. You can draw this however you desire. You can just draw lines, you can move, you can copy, you can mirror, all sorts of cool stuff. Many, many, many ways to go about drawing this. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. You're trying, you're working at it, it's getting close. By the end of the semester, you should be able to bang this out and get it right. Right now, our focus is on having these layers and something that looks kind of like it. Now, we don't have text yet, so don't worry about it, but I do want to see that the layer has been made. Okay? So that's if I could do a Porky Pig, that's all, folks. That's all, folks. Let's see what else is in the middle template. Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? Man. That should have come up as a copy. Hold on. That should have made you make a copy. You'd have to copy it anyway, but I like it to come up so that it automatically makes a copy for you. There are so many details into getting this stuff all right on here. There we go. And we get absolutely zero clerical support for all this. Many colleges have people that just go through this stuff and verify it that it's right for you. So we went over how to do these little things last time. We made a set of layers. We did text and we did those. So that was all last week. This week, now we just did this one. Annotations not required. Annotations not required. Next week, we're going to go back and annotate these. Okay. And again, if your drawings were not perfect, you will have the choice of redoing them and making the annotations come out right, or just putting the annotations on for what you drew, because it's about doing annotations. Okay, so I'm not going to be, I know some people can't handle that. No, it's got to look right, it's got to be right. It does eventually. I've never seen a design that was made perfect right off the bat. Never seen one, at least not one that's of any use. I suppose I could do a design that's a 1-inch cube and make it just right, but then, that's not very interesting. Okay, so there we go. We've got all those things. How to do it. I'll put that up. Appointment count. So let's go look at the production drawing just really quickly. Why is that not going there? That's really interesting. You guys having a hard time getting to that? There it goes. So, Alicia, you were saying, hey, this looks like what you're doing, right? Like, cool, huh? So do you know what these mean yet? So, yeah. Uh-huh, I think so. Okay, cool. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that whole continuous joint, right? All the way around. So, oh, that's cool. Now, one thing I don't know, and I used to work in weld shops and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what the 29850 means. Okay. So that's the spec reference, probably. Yep. Yep. No, that makes sense. And I was thinking that it would be a spec or a call out. It could be like amps and volts or, something like that. Uh huh. Right. Well, so that'll be two places because you see, it's going to be the same there as it is there. So instead of putting another one over here, you go two places. So if it looks exactly like that on the drawing, then you find another one. Oh, there's another one. There it is. Two places. Right. Uh huh. Yep. Yep. So that's cool. See, so this is really cool. Um, and it's pretty neat. Now, a lot of places I can tell that this is a CAD drawing. Got any good ideas on how I absolutely know it's a CAD drawing? Besides the fact that the lettering is much better than I could ever do. So these little pieces are at an angle, right? They're not really straight up and down, they're an angle, and it's actually really showing the edge. There is no hand drafter in the world that would have done that. They would have just drawn a line and said, that's, close enough. What do I need more for? Um, so when things are so perfectly done in the projections, You absolutely know it's a CAD drawing. So that's kind of cool. But I like this one. This is kind of a nice drawing. I worked in weld shops for years and years and years. I worked for Tri-Tool Inc., which made automatic weld prep equipment. And so, although I never really got classes in this stuff, I mean, you go down onto the shop floor, and the journey level, the journeyman just beat the tar out of you if you're a stupid engineer that doesn't know what this stuff means. So, um, so I got the learning on this from the journeyman, not from books. I went to UC Davis. They would never teach you anything useful. Um, so this is all cool stuff. The one thing that I don't like about this one is everything is 3 decimal places. And there is not a weld shop in the world that would actually hold things to 3 decimal places. Right? So those should really, especially when you got fractions here. So I would suspect that mostly you'll see those as 2 decimal places at the most, or fractional in most cases. Now, I got to admit, I did some weld prep for the exhaust of the Space Shuttle engine on 4-inch tubing, Inconel, 10,000ths of an inch wall, and they wanted a J prep with a 5,000ths land. And that was freaking precise. And that was back in the late 80s. Yeah. And I actually got to see them test fire an engine on the test stand. Actually, I didn't so much see it as I heard it and felt it. We were in a room way far away and we were watching it on the screen. I could still feel it. It was one of the coolest things that I've ever done. But yeah, we had to do some really fancy prep, and they had lasers, to line up our prep equipment and all this kind of stuff. So it can happen, but on a strut or something like this, this looks like it's some sort of a holder that's going to go as a strut to hold something. You would never see 3 decimal places. So anyway, that's kind of cool. I like to talk about some of the places where I've seen drawings so that you can know that there's tons of different industries and they're all using their drawings and they all do it different. So that's really the cool thing and why we're going about this as we are. And so then when we look at this one, so Alicia, what are some of the standards that you're learning about in the weld shop? Okay. Okay. And did they talk about AWS at all, like American Welding Society or anything like that? Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Okay. Well, it's really cool stuff. I mean, welding is really, really neat. It can be what we used to call guerrilla welding, which is what I did. A guy would put a stick in my hand and put the helmet on, do all the stuff, and he'd say, lay a bead. And I'd lay a bead, and they'd all laugh and go, ha ha ha, that's how an engineer welds. And then they'd do this beautiful, beautiful TIG weld or something like that. And I go, yeah, I get it. I get it. I don't know how to weld. But um, so AWS standards are very cool. And you'll get into it if you want to do a little bit more. You probably in electronics probably won't unless you're getting into creating, wire runs and, supports for electronic and electrical stuff. But it's really fun. So good for you for being in that one. Okay. Who's teaching your class? Oh, he's awesome. So be sure to say hi. He is, oh my God, is he a good welder too? And such a good teacher. So, so that's very cool. Okay. So say hi for me. Obviously I haven't seen him for 2 years. So, okay. So that's cool. Um, all right. So there we go. That was it. Unless you guys have some questions about any of the work we've gone over, what layers are. Oh, I did want to show you just really quickly the cool thing about layers. So if, for an example, I just wanted to show somebody this part, I can turn off the border. And that's really, really cool. So that's how you go about, or if I want to just show the border, it says, oh, you're turning off the current layer. Yeah, that's okay. Turn it back on. So that's one of the prime uses of layers. When we come over to the layouts and you see stuff, let's say in here, that's on my 0 layer and I don't want to see it anymore, but I want to see it in my drawing, I can turn it off in this viewport. So it's not really gone. That's my part, and there it is. But it's still easy to see over here. So this is why we like layers. There are times that we want to see stuff and times when we don't. And if we organize the stuff in a way that's useful to us, images, I don't want to see images. Put them on the 0 layer or on an image layer. Borders, there are times when I don't want to see a border. I just want to see the part. Sometimes I've got parts that are mechanical and electrical and plumbing. So you can put all the electrical stuff on one layer. Every industry has this. And so you'll get used to doing layers and turning them on and off, particularly when you say, okay, I just want to see part of this. Okay, and let's say I want 1/2 scale. I don't know why that just froze on me. There it goes. And so now I've got just that, and the rest of it is still in there and it's not showing up. Cool? That was the other thing about layers I needed to be able to show you. And what's really cool is I can change it at any time. Okay, I can go back into my model and say, oh, I do want to see that. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. And you can show it sometimes and not others. So that's the purpose and use of layers. And we'll do more on that as we go. There's tons of uses for layers, but we're not really going to worry about them too much yet. Okay? Any questions before I stop the recording? Okay.